Alright, so in today's video I will be making a tutorial on how to use DataStore Service. And to start things off, if you don't know on how to use tables, then please don't watch the video, and yeah, thanks. So let's start right into it by going to the game settings and going to security, and now enabling this, enable studio access to API services. Enable this, because if you don't enable this, then you won't be able to use DataStore Service. And now that we have done this, let's create a script. And in the script we need two functions, which is the first one called player edit, okay, and it contains a player parameter. And now we need a second function called player removed, which contains also a player parameter. Oh, what the hell did I type there? Local function player removed. There we go. And now like this. And now that we have both our functions, we would like to start them by saying game.players player edit connect function player. Now we say player, not the wrong function, player edit player. And now the same for player removing, so game.players player removing connect function player, and now player removed player. Okay, and now we start both our functions at the right moment. And there's another thing we gotta do, and this is whenever the game is shutting down, then the player removing function won't start. This means if you shut the game down and there are players right now playing, then their data basically won't save, or basically the player removed function where we save the player's data won't even start. And this is a big issue we have to fix. And to do this, we basically say game bind to close, okay, and make this to our function. And now loop through every player in the game, so game players get players, okay, like this. And now we say player removed for. What this function does is whenever the game is about to shut down, then this function starts, okay. This is it. So now that we have our functions, let me just copy a simple leader.stat script, okay, and paste in player edit. And this is a basic leader.stat script. I don't think I have to explain everything there, and you don't obviously have to make the same exact one, okay, but yeah. So now let's local the DataStore service by saying local DataStore service equals to game get service DataStore service. And now we have our DataStore service, okay. And let's start with saving the player's data and not with loading the player's data, because I think it's simpler to understand there. So to make things, we would like to get the values we want to save, and in my case it's the coins value, so I would like to say local coins value, which is a number value. Okay, this is not a number value, so number value. And now we say equals to player wait for child leader stats, like this, find first child coins. So, and now I got my coins value. And yeah, this is again pretty simple. I don't think I have to explain this, but if you don't understand what I have done there with this one or this one, then this is called type checking, and I'm basically telling the script what the instance coins value is, which is in my case a number value, and the player is a player instance, okay. So, and now that we have done this, we would like to get the database. I will be explaining what this is in a second. So local database equals to DataStore Service get DataStore, and now we say player data, okay. And now it's time to explain what this does, okay. And to explain this, I have made a little drawing here, and this drawing is, yeah, pretty garbage, okay, I know, but the big squares you can see outside, like this is a database, okay, and the little cubes inside, this is the single player data. Like imagine this one is for my data, this one is for your data, this one is for your friend's data, and this keeps continuing like this, okay. And what we have done in our script right now with this one is we basically got the big cube outside, so the database, and we can name the database whatever we want. So in my case I just named it player data because I would like to save some player data which contains coins in there, so player data. Okay, and now what we have to do is we will need to get this little cube for the player, like where we saved his data. Okay, there will be his coins, so here are the player's coins. Okay, and to make this, we would like to say local data equals to database, and then get async, and now we say player.userid, and yeah, okay, and this is set in the wrong place because I would have to do this on player edit, but let me just explain it here. So local data equals to database get async, and now we pass in the player's user ID. Why would we have to do this? Simply because this cube here is saved to our key, okay, and we save the player's data to their user ID, okay, which you can see here. And to get what we have saved from the specific player, we need to pass in his user ID to get his cube, okay? Basically understand it like this, okay? So, and now to explain a new thing, okay, which is basically something like this, player data 1, okay, and this one won't be the same as this one. Why? Because this one is a new database. Basically, if you go to our drawing again, this understand this big cube here as player data, okay, and understand this one as player data 1, okay, and if I save let's say the coins to me as to my user ID in database in there, and then I try to get the coins I have saved to my user ID in database 1, okay, like there, then it won't be there. Why? Because we have saved it to database and not database 1. So it's pretty important to keep in mind that you have to make sure that both of these have the same name, okay? And yeah, now to get into this, I will be just explaining it even better on player edit, but let's continue there first off. So to make things off, we would like to create a table, and let's call this table data to save, okay, and now we make a table, and now we say coins value, and now we say coins value dot name equals to coins value dot value, okay, and now what we basically have done, okay, not coins value, data to save, so like this, and now what we basically have done is we saved, okay, this is a little bit hard to explain, we set the coins name equals to the coins value in the data to save table, okay, exactly like this. So, and now that we have done this, the last thing we gotta do is to save the data to our little cube here. And to make this, we would like to say database, okay, and now we say set async, and now it requested our now it needs a key, which is the player's user ID, okay, and yeah, and now if we make a comma, then it says value, and this is what we would like to save there, and in our case it will be data to save, so the table, okay. And it's pretty important to keep in mind that you can't save instances there. Right now we have to make, right now we made it to a table and place everything in there, and yeah, but I can't basically just say here coins value, okay, no, not like this, coins value, I can't do this. This doesn't work because coins value is an instance and we can't save instances, okay, so this is something pretty important to keep in mind. So, and now that we have done this, what exactly is going on here? So now our player remove function is basically done, and for the player edit function we would have to do the similar thing again. We can basically copy this one again, okay, and now it's pretty important to keep in mind, if I now say player data 1, okay, I will be trying to load the coins, I will be trying to load data from a database, like I will be trying to load the coins value from a database where I didn't save it, okay, so it's pretty important to keep in mind that this must have the same name as this down below, okay. So, And now that we have done this, now we can say local player data, okay, equals to database, and now get a sync. And now again we need a key, which is the player's user ID, okay, and we are basically done. And the player data will be the datas to save table basically, okay. And to make sure that we don't make mistakes, we need to say if player data then, okay. And what this basically does is, let's say I joined for the first time the game, then I won't have any data that I have saved sometime, right? Because I joined for the first time. So this one won't trigger, okay? This is just to make sure no errors appear. Okay, and now that we have done this, if player data, then what we would like to say if is coins that value equals to, and now we say player data look coins.name, okay. And yeah, if you don't understand what this does, then please don't watch this tutorial again, because really this is simple tables, okay. So, and now that we have done this, I think we are basically done. Let's just go into the game and check if everything has worked so far. And let's say we go to leader stats, to our coins value, and make it to 2. And now we stop the game, and let's now rejoin and see if it now is 2, and yeah, it worked. So now we managed to save our data. Okay, so this script works, okay. And yeah, I don't think I have anything more to explain there, but let me just make a new thing that I would like to save there. Let's make something new, and now let's say XP or something, XP value, okay. So basically like this, and now let's call it XP, okay. And this is just for showcasing how it would look like if we have a second thing. Okay, now that we have our second value, now we go down there, and now we say XP value dot value equals to player data, and then like this, and now we say XP value dot name, okay. This will okay, hold on a second, let me just make this down below. Let me just copy this locally here like this, and now rename this to XP value, okay. Now here we say XP, just like this. And now we would like to make the same thing again here, so data to save, XP value dot name equals to XP value dot value. This is the exact same thing we have done to coins value, okay. And now that this is done, it should hopefully work. If you load the first time in, this will occur as a mistake. This is because this one here isn't made properly, but don't worry, if I now stop the game and rejoin, it will then work. And yeah, now if I rejoin, and now let's say we go to players, leader stats, XP, and now make the value to something like 7, and now stop the game, and now if we rejoin, it should hopefully be 7. Exactly, it worked. So this is my leader stats tutorial. If you have any questions, which I think you all will have some questions, because I don't think I have really explained it that well, and I don't think it's that easy to understand. But yeah, if you have any questions, go on, write it in the comments, or join my Discord server, because I will be answering any questions there. And yeah, thanks for watching. I will be seeing you all in the next video.